Someone else has donned the glasses on the set. It's Blaine Fowler. He's here. Blaine.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Blaine, you're looking good with those goggles.
The future's so bright for BYU, I got to wear shades, and I might as well wear blue.
These
I've
are
got
the-
my blue goggles
These are
on
the blue
right
goggles.
now. I got blue
BYU.
goggles on.
Taysom Hill.
National champion quarterback, dual threat analyst, college football insider Blaine Fowler with us on BYU Sports Nation. Blaine, I want to read this tweet because this is such a cool story. And we talked about this at the beginning of the show. Ian Fry, Virginia's kicker, his dad had a heart attack during the game in Provo. He was being attended to while Virginia walked into the locker room. It turned out that he was okay, thankfully. So Mark Fry, give a shout out to him that we're glad he's doing well. And Tom Holmoe went to the hospital, took Ian a meal, and went and checked in on them. And so the way BYU handled that is getting a ton of good publicity. This from Jeff Bowserman at Rocking the Y. I live in the town where Ian Fry played high school football. BYU is getting nice props over the handling of an emergency in local news. This is a great story for BYU.
Yeah, no, it is. And you know what? I have some friends that are tied to the Virginia program. You guys remember that Kellen, our oldest, that played free safety here, did his law degree at the University of Virginia. So we've got some close ties back there. Virginia's starting right guard, Connor Davis, his dad and I are good friends, Charlie Davis. And so he called. They were coming out to the game. He said, what are we going to do? Where do we go to dinner? And I sent him up to Sundance and told him all the things that they should do and where they should stay. I saw him after the game. They went up to dinner at Sundance, and the boys and I decided after the game to go up fishing up on that little. Oh, I shouldn't even tell people that you can fish on that stream. It's our secret.
Redacted.
It's not a secret
Okay,
now.
it's a
Rewind the
secret.
tape. Let's start. Is this even live?
That little stream that runs past Sundance, the south fork of the Provo River, just a tiny little stream. Literally, you can catch 8 little between 9 and 13-inch trout.
Wow.
Like in an hour, you'll catch 7.
Wow.
Just with worms. It's awesome.
Okay.
And so we go fish that little stream. So we went up to fish it, and then we visited with him. He came in, and he says, hey, the first thing I have to tell you is what a great experience we just had. And we didn't win, and that was unfortunate. And his son, twisted an ankle. He's a senior. He's the only senior on that offensive line, so they were discouraged that he'd been banged up so much. But he goes, what a great experience. What a great environment. What great fans. Boy, we just felt welcomed here. This was a great place to play. This is a big-time atmosphere and a big-time environment. And then he said, did you hear about what happened with our kicker's father? And he told me the story, and he was just so impressed with how that was handled, how they were treated here as a visiting team. That's what we want, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to be like Notre Dame. When you go to Notre Dame as a visiting fan, you feel like when you walk out of there, hey, this is a class organization. This is a great place to go play as an opponent. And that's how we want people to feel. That's how the Virginia folks felt. So, and I had a really good visit with Steve Fairchild after the game, too. He and I talked for about 10 minutes. He's a good friend. And
The offensive coordinator.
Yeah, offensive coordinator for Virginia. And he commented on the team, and so Steve and I go back. He played at Colorado State when I was here. He was a quarterback. He was the head coach at Colorado State. I did a lot of games of theirs when he was the head coach there. We've been friends for a long time. And I said, well, what did you think? I said, first of all, I think you called a great game.
517
I think he
yards,
called a great game.
or 19
I
yards.
said, Steve, man, you called a great game. And he said, yeah, we cannot settle for that many field goal attempts. He's just like, he goes, you got to give BYU credit that we did move the football from 20 to 20, but when we get down there, they held and they didn't let us score. They managed the points really, really well, and that was frustrating for us as an offense. He goes, we're young. He goes, but we are very talented. He goes, I have 4 sophomores starting on that offensive line. I've got a sophomore quarterback who I think is going to be really good. I like our receiving core. He says, from an offensive perspective and from a team perspective, he says, we are a very talented football team this year. We're a much better team than we were last year. And he feels that they'll be a bowl team this year, and then the next year they make a big step and compete in the ACC because he feels like they're talented and young. And that's good to know from the inside look that, okay, Virginia gave UCLA, stood toe-to-toe with UCLA. They beat Louisville. They come out and they stand toe-to-toe with BYU. From a physical standpoint, that's a good football team.
Yes.
And then I said, what did you think of BYU? And he goes, that is a way more physical defense than we played last year. He goes, I know we played in the rain and all that, but that defense is really physical. They smack you around. They smacked our quarterback around. They're stout up front. So he was very, very impressed with the physical nature of BYU's team. That's a nice thing to be, for a visiting, opposing coach to. His first comment was how physical they were. And I think BYU's establishing an identity this year of being just that on both sides of the ball. They're better running the football this year than they were, more physical in the run game. They've been better running the football down in the red zone. And defensively, even though there's not stars out there like a Van Noy perhaps, that defense is smacking people around, and it's getting noticed. And when an opposing coordinator tells you that, that's impressive.
We've been talking about how BYU needs more of a pass rush. 0 sacks the last 2 games. Bronson Kaufusi seems like the answer to that question. You can change schematically some things, but Bronson's specialty is just that.
He will make a difference, that's for sure. And the thing that you got to remember is this offense that Virginia runs, Utah's going to see the same thing this week against Washington State with Connor Halliday. They get rid of the football. And so it's not like the quarterbacks are standing back there forever and nobody's coming anywhere near them. They smacked the quarterbacks around. And two played in that game. They smacked them around quite a bit. Sometimes it's not so important that you get sacks, but that as that quarterback's letting go of the football, because these guys are trained. Grayson Lambert did a great job. There were many times that he could have been sacked and he got rid of the football and put it in a good spot.
And got hit hard.
And got hit.
But you need some sacks, though, right?
Well, it depends.
Because they kill drives.
Sacks kill drives, but smacking the quarterback around pays off. And you can't get discouraged with these offenses that get rid of the football in 2.4 seconds when you don't get sacks. Because you don't get sacks against those teams. They get it out. Teams used to say, why does John Beck never get sacked? Remember in the John Beck senior year, he got rid of the football on time. It wasn't that teams weren't capable of getting to him. It was like by the time they got there, the ball was out. And so sometimes we focus too much on that they're not getting sacks. What we really need to look at is, are they getting pressures? And they had plenty of pressures in this ball game. They just didn't get to him. But you go back and you think about all the times that he got hit and how he got rid of the football. Would it be nice to get a couple? Yeah, it would be nice to get a couple. But I'm not worried about that as long as I'm seeing consistent pressure. I'm seeing that quarterback get hit on a regular basis.
And the pressure did create the interception for Rob Daniel and another interception by, believe it was JLD, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Jeremiah Leutaduyer.
JLD.
People were like, who's JLD? What's going on?
That's what it is.
I think by now people know JLD.
BYU now in a bye week, 4-0. They're ranked number 21 in the coaches poll, number 20 in the AP poll. They have momentum, but it feels like compared to last year after the Texas game in between Texas and Utah, where it was just horrible bye week placement, unfortunate. It feels like this is the right place for BYU right now.
Yeah, they need to get a few guys healthy. We'll see Kaufusi back by the time Utah State rolls around. I don't know what Kurt's most current
according
status
to Brett
is.
Pine, they said everybody is going to be back.
They're telling us that Kurtz will be back. Now he's got to go out and test that thing and see how it goes, but the timing is right for him to come back, and that's a big, big weapon. I remember as we watched through spring ball and through fall camp, how much of a go-to guy Nick Kurtz was. Jordan Leslie will be back in action in that game.
Algernon Brown, Marquise Johnson.
So it comes at the right time for them to get healthy. And in terms of momentum, they have momentum right now, but I think getting healthy is more important than momentum right now. So I do think that this is perfectly placed and allow them to be at full speed and get things going again on a Friday night against Utah State.
Let's ask you our Twitter question. What's the one thing you want BYU to work on during the bye week?
Guys, they have got to get more discipline. And when I say that, I'm talking about penalties.
Oh, yeah.
And I know the Broncos said, hey, I don't mind aggressive penalties, and neither do I. I don't mind penalties that occur between the whistles where somebody's being aggressive and hits somebody.
Yeah.
Case in point, when Craig Bills came across the middle, actually they reversed that one. Remember the one where they called him for a targeting penalty?
And it was clearly
not even
and he hit his shoulder. So, you know what? Say that one stood and it was a penalty. You'd go, you know what? I'll take that penalty all day long, because by the fourth quarter, those receivers didn't want to come across the middle.
Yeah.
That's an aggressive penalty. Shoving somebody into the ground after the play is over twice right in front of the official and getting a 15-yard penalty, that is not an aggressive penalty. That's a stupid penalty. And they have got to eliminate those. I'm okay if they have 6 penalties. But
6 for 40 against Texas.
That's perfect. Those are fine. But 15 for 150 at UConn and 12 for 133 at UVA.
Too much.
That is too much. When you have triple-digit penalties 3 of your 4 games, it's an area of concern, no matter what somebody says.
You shouldn't have more penalty yards than Jamal Williams has rush yards.
Right, no. Oh, man, that's a great point. So to me, they need to be a little bit introspective and say, let's take a look at the kinds of penalties we're getting. Some of them we're okay with. Like the kind we talked about.
In the end zone kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're going to have that. Those things are going to happen. Those are okay. Those are aggressive plays. Those are guys trying to make plays. They just need to eliminate the ones that happen outside the whistles, and the disciplined ones, like blocking the backs or holds that aren't affecting the play, behind the play, or you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So it seems like over the years we've had too many of those on kick returns. I was so happy for Adam Heaney. If I were Adam Heaney running in the end zone, the first thing I would have done was turn around and go, okay, I've done this many times before. Let me see if there's a flag back there.
Everybody in the stadium was like, where's the flag?
Where's the flag?
Where's the flag?
And I was just so happy that he finally had a big return that didn't get called back. And so to me, that's something that they don't completely focus on it because you don't want to take away the aggression, but you take a look at the types of penalties, you point out the ones that were stupid penalties that can be avoided, and you move forward because that's going to hurt them in a game. That helped. Yeah. They extended drives for UVA in that game.
We went through all of them.
And that's a problem. They are a 20-point better team than Virginia. They're a 20-point better team than Houston. And
it was turnovers and then
turnovers and penalties. Yeah. Turnovers and penalties. So those are areas. Get healthy, stay sharp, and eliminate turnovers and penalties. And this is a team that can have a great, great season.
Blaine Fowler with us on BYU Sports Nation.
If it's going to be great, one loss, no loss, whatever. What's the best game, or the toughest, I should say, game left on BYU's schedule now that we've had 4 weeks of ball?
I need 6 weeks to make that judgment, to tell whether Cal's really as good as I think they are right now or not.
Well, you won't have 2 weeks with UCF, right? That game's in 2.5
I do think that's – so if I were to pick out 2 games, I'd pick out Central Florida.
I asked you for one, Blaine.
Well, listen, let's rank them. Let's rank them. I know this is your show, but I'm your guest. And you treat guests nicely, right?
Yeah.
So let's rank them. So Central Florida, Boise State, Cal. Cal could be huge because – BYU could be undefeated going into that Cal game, and Cal looks to be way better than they were last year, like way better. I mean, they were getting killed last year, and now they're competitive.
They blew it against Arizona.
They gave up a game that they should have won at Arizona. Unbelievable. It reminded me of the Holiday Bowl with Jim McMahon.
Yeah.
That was that crazy. Yeah. So that game could be more formidable than we thought. I just don't know if it is or not yet. So I can't. So let's not judge Cal.
But UCF or Boise State?
I thought Utah State was going to be a difficult game, and I've changed my mind on that. I think BYU should win that one going away.
Yes.
Because I just don't think Chucky's right. So I am going to say that UCF, because of matchups and team speed, are going to create more problems than Boise State
on a Thursday.
It's
in
to
Florida.
Me because it's a Thursday.
And it's
granted it's after a Friday. It's
back on the East Coast, so it's a long travel. They've got all kinds of team speed on both sides of the ball. I know they don't have Bortles back. I heard did Bortles start yesterday?
Bortles will start. He played on Sunday and played well. He's going to start this.
So that's a big cog missing. But I still think there's enough team speed left that they can create problems in making big plays. And so that one scares me the most of what's left. Now, by the time we get to the end of the year, Cal might scare me more.
No, you're right.
Cal might scare me more. But that one's still I think Cal's a work in progress. So I'm going to say UCF. I'm going to go to 1. It's going to be UCF.
Thank you for answering the question.
That was a long answer, huh?
Okay, Blaine, we've got like 30 seconds left, so I need a go fast, go hard answer right here.
You've taken 4 of the seconds.
Undefeated BYU, will they automatically be in the New Year's Six?
If they're undefeated, they're in the New Year's Six.
No, you don't see any other way.
No. I don't see them even undefeated unless crazy things happen in the top 4 in the playoff. But I see them in the New Year's Six with an undefeated season. The schedule's strong enough. They're in the power rankings already, and so yeah, I think that they're in the New Year's Six if they're undefeated.
Fair enough. Blaine Fowler, always great to talk to you. Still looking buff, my friend.
I'm trying, man, every day.